Welcome to the National Public Works Week 2021. The Ontario Public Works Association, a Canadian chapter of APWA, along with our two regional branches, the Ottawa Valley Branch and the West Central Branch, are very excited to welcome you here to this, our kickoff event. Public Works, the people and their organizations, along with the many chapters of APWA, have been celebrating National Public Works Week across Canada and the United States for over 60 years. This year's theme for National Public Works Week is Stronger Together. Like previous years, the theme for National Public Works Week is illustrated by an artist. Let's take a moment to reflect on the images captured by the artist. In the center, I see the gathering and unity of many people as a symbol of community. Surrounding the people are many different examples of infrastructure that are so important to function and to maintain our quality of life. Lastly, I see the diversity and togetherness in both public works and citizens alike. In our daily lives, public works and citizens can work together to magnify positive impacts on community to accomplish goals. In work, public works provides collaboration with stakeholders in building and maintaining infrastructure. It is you, the municipal public works professionals, who play a key role in creating great communities. It goes without saying, this pandemic has probably created the greatest challenge seen in our times. So there's no better way to get through this challenge than by working together, stronger together. Good morning. My name is Enrico Stradiotto, 2021 President of the Ontario Public Works Association. On behalf of OPWA Board, I want to extend a warm welcome to you at this kickoff event for National Public Works Week. We are offering not just one day as a peek into public works, but a whole week of celebration, recognition, and education. I hope you have made some time in your busy week to spend with us and listen to some of our many sessions. So just how are you doing? I hope you're well and coping with these challenging times. I wish we could be shaking hands and rubbing shoulders and having conversations. But here we remain on Zoom, 14 months repeated. If you're a public works professional, I want to thank you. You have an important role in making our communities livable and functional. I myself am not a public works professional, but in my line of work, I'm closely affiliated with this sector. The next best thing is being a member of OPWA and APWA, and a member since 2009. OPWA is the largest Canadian chapter of APWA, and we're very proud of that. We are the voice of public works in Ontario. Our vision as OPWA is to advance our members' success. How so? By supporting each other in our day-to-day jobs, by sharing knowledge to develop the skill, and by nurturing our professional relationships. In Ontario, we have hundreds of municipal public works departments, and together from each of these locations, thousands of public works professionals. They are spread from corner to corner of this great province. With the theme of Stronger Together, we wanted to bring together the greetings from public works across Ontario, both near and far. OPWA is here to connect the public works community.
I'm Franco Cimini from the Hamilton Water, wishing everyone a happy National Public Works Week.
My name's Janine Yaramich, Manager of Roads Design and Construction.
My name's Mary Naveau. I'm Manager of Parks Design and Construction. On behalf of the City of Burlington,
We'd like to wish you a happy National Public Works Week.
Hi, this is Eric Nickel, Director of Municipal Works for the City of Niagara Falls, Ontario. I'd like to say thank you to all our amazing Public Works employees here in Niagara Falls, and I'd like to wish all Public Works employees a happy Public Works Week.
Great, thanks a lot.
Hi, I'm Kelly Scher. I'm the Deputy City Manager of Environment and Infrastructure for the City of London. I'm here at the City of London's Greenway Pollution Control Centre to wish my colleagues in the Forest City, across Canada and across Ontario, a happy National Public Works Week. What we do matters, and I'm proud to be part of it with all of you.
This is Windsor Public Works. Here's to Public Works across Ontario.
I'm Keely Degman, Commissioner of Public Works with the Region of Peel. On behalf of the team, I'd like to wish all Public Works professionals a happy National Public Works Week.
Hello, this is Carrie Marshall, General Manager for the Infrastructure and Operations Department at the City of Thunder Bay. I would like to send a big thank you to all of our Public Works professionals who work behind the scenes to keep our city running. Happy National Public Works Week from Thunder Bay.
Hi, I'm Paula. I'm Debbie, and on behalf of the Greater City of Sudbury, we'd like to wish you a happy National Public Works Week. Stay safe.
Hi, my name is Eric. I'm a water distribution operator with the City of Ottawa. I'm a proud member of the Public Works and Environmental Services team. One of our key roles is to deliver safe and reliable drinking water to our citizens. To ensure that, I'm here today to inspect a large main and the valves that go along with it. Everybody have a great week. We're out here rain or shine, so stay safe out there.
Good afternoon, folks. This is just a quick shout out from the South Grenville Public Works Garage, located in the County of Leeds in Grenville. We're located here halfway between Kingston and Ottawa. On behalf of everybody, happy Public Works Week, and be safe out there, folks.
Happy National Public Works Week.
Happy Public Works Week from the Force Main Twinning Group in York Region.
Hello, my name is Mauro Fabro of Toronto Water.
This is William Fernandez from Toronto Water, and I want to take this opportunity to wish all my fellow colleagues from Public Works a very happy National Public Works Week. Cheers!
Hi, I'm Mayor Greg Davidson, wishing all the Public Works professionals here in the Township of Mapleton, in the County of Wellington, and right across Ontario, a great National Public Works Week. We are stronger together.
Hi, my name's John Chubby, Disposal Compliance Supervisor with the County of Wellington at the landfill up in Riverstown. On behalf of the operators here and me, have a great National Public Works Week.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of video, and thanks to the many public works departments across Ontario who did contribute. So I hope most of you had a chance to view our program for the week. I ask that you try to participate in as many of the sessions as possible. Let me highlight the week for you very quickly. The OPWA Technology Showcase is going to start and finish on Wednesday. At Friday's closing session, we will announce the winner of the showcase. On Tuesday, there is a panel discussion on the topic of diversity and inclusion by the OPWA Young Professionals Committee. Tuesday through Thursday are educational sessions brought to you by the Ottawa Valley branch of the region just outside Ottawa. Thursday's CPWA session is going to provide some insights on advocacy at the federal level of government. And Thursday is also going to have a presentation by Toronto Councillor Jennifer McKelvey, who's going to talk about the impact of stormwater issues on the big city. At Friday's closing session, Laura McDowell, the OPWA Top Public Works Leader of the Year 2020, is going to provide a keynote on the topic of collaboration. Also, I ask that you keep your eyes open throughout the week. We're going to have spotlight videos from various municipal public works departments and programs, as well as activity on the OPWA social media sites. So feel free to post, to tag us, make a hashtag and share a hashtag, and anything else that may happen on your social media activity. As you know, an event like this has many people involved. I wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you for connecting with us today initially, and then of course participating in this very important event for Ontario Public Works. OPWA's strategic partners are a key part of this: the Ontario Good Roads Association, the Municipal Engineers Association, and the Association of Ontario Road Superintendents. We also have many industry organizations that are going to participate in today's industry panel, moderated by Don Kudo from the County of Wellington. To all of our OPWA annual sponsors, without you, this is not possible. And to the OPWA members and non-members who are joining us today. We hope our guests that are not members of OPWA are also feeling welcome. And lastly, a special thanks to the OPWA National Public Works Committee, who has planned this week, led by our chair, Doug Keeney of RJ Burnside. So thank you all. When we set out to plan this year's National Public Works Week, we had no playbook to start with. The pandemic had thrown us a wrench and changed all things for us. In past years, we would have an awards program to honor municipal programs bringing awareness to the public. More recently, we added a truck rodeo competition, which would challenge the skills of public works operators driving a snowplow or a waste management truck. So this year it was back to the drawing board. And for us, we had to rely upon three key actions that we do well at OPWA: to celebrate, to educate, and to recognize. And by executing on all three of these actions this week, to celebrate, to educate, and to recognize, we hope to be reminded, or to even learn more, the answers to these questions. Who is public works, and what is public works? More knowledge and understanding of public works will help lead us to more opportunity and success in public works. All this can only happen when we are connected with each other. And this is reflected in OPWA's mission, which is connecting the public works community. So a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to find some examples of public works around my own neighborhood. That didn't take very long, and that's no surprise. It's often said that public works represents the many things we take for granted or goes unnoticed in our community. So this is what I found. In the bottom right, city staff had visited the neighborhood public park, and with a wrench to tighten some bolts and a safety checklist for the equipment and a rake for the mulch, they manicured and put in place a functional parks facility. Public works is keeping our publics safe and functional. A street sweeper cleaning the winter sand and grit off the curb line. Public works is maintaining a clean and pleasant aesthetic for the neighborhood. In that middle photo is my son Julian checking out the solid waste collection truck at the end of our driveway. Public works is ensuring waste is managed and contained. A few blocks away, there was a construction project with a sewer and road reconstruction. This example is a little more dear to me, as my day job is within the concrete pipe and precast industry, products that are used for buried infrastructure. Public Works recognizes maintenance and replacement of infrastructure, buried infrastructure, is an ongoing and critical need. My last example was the spring water main flushing, which always seems to put a bit of an inconvenience to the household. But Public Works knows what is needed to ensure safe public drinking water. For this morning, we have some special guests who want to provide greetings and recognition for Public Works professionals and National Public Works Week. We are very fortunate to have Premier Ford send us a warm salutation.
Good morning. It's an absolute pleasure to bring greetings as you celebrate National Public Works Week. Ontario's public work professionals have been on the front lines throughout the pandemic and continue to play an important role in maintaining municipal infrastructure. Because of your passion, dedication, and hard work, Ontarians and communities across the province have continued to access the vital services they need and rely on. I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for stepping up to keep the community safe and healthy. You're all absolute champions. Thank you and God bless.
I'd like to thank Premier Ford for taking the time to recognize the hard work of the people in Public Works. Good words spoken by the Premier. They truly are champions. Our next greeting is from Patty Podobarantsny, who is the 2021 president of the Canadian Public Works Association. Unfortunately, Patty could not join us live, but she did send us a video to view.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our celebration of National Public Works Week, hosted by the Ontario Public Works Association. I am honored to be here to represent the Board of Directors for your Canadian Public Works Association. My name is Patty Podobarantsny, and I'm currently the president of the Canadian Public Works Association. Right now, I am the town manager or chief administrative officer for a small town in rural Alberta called the town of Bergerheim. Our population is a mere 1,500 people, and everything that is important to my residents is supported by Public Works. How did I become the president of the Canadian Public Works Association as a town manager, you ask? Well, it's easy. My background is in operations public works. I started as a young surveyor for a large municipality of over 100,000 people. And I know in Ontario, that's not a large municipality, but in Alberta, it certainly is. We don't have, I think we only have 6 municipalities that are over 100,000 currently. So we're spread out very far. And so our large municipalities provide guidance and support to small rural Alberta. I quickly learned the trade of public works and what it meant to be a maintenance manager. I did a lot of work to make sure I researched and learned the world of asphalt, underground, and what it means to be working with contractors and to support emergency services during crisis and also administration. I also learned how to run our local airport and became the airport manager and took emergency management pretty seriously after I was asked by the Alberta government to assist with some of our natural disasters. It was so important to me to be able to connect public works professionals with like-minded people. You can't always get a contractor. You can't always just dial up the phone and find a friend. So being that linkage between people, we quickly realized how important it was to network and create those relationships, and not only just in our province, but across borders. And that's been very successful in supporting our current theme this year of Stronger Together. I think that theme will always resonate with me because we are stronger together, and we proved that as Canadians this last year. And I always wonder why Public Works doesn't sing praise for themselves and for others for all the great things that we do to support the resiliency of Canadian communities. And I think because in Canada, Public Works means people that are the silent heroes, people that work in the night, people that work in off hours, and people that work underground, and people that work in buildings to make sure the infrastructure is stable, and those designers and the people that are months and years ahead of municipalities planning for our future. Those are the people, those are the heroes that we never celebrate. Those are the ones you don't see on the media. asking for more and asking to be recognized. Those are the people that just do what we do in Canada, and that is to support all of the people that need basic services. So I want to make sure that we all take a minute to say thank you to each other, and make sure that you celebrate when you see some of our colleagues doing great things. Innovation in our small Alberta, I know that our larger municipalities, sometimes we look to the larger or the smaller municipalities because they have to be innovative. They don't have the resources in-house, so they have to think of outside of the box thinking. This is what it means to be public works in Canada, from the West Coast to the East Coast, all of those small communities that think outside the box and figure out how to be stronger together by talking about regional collaboration and partnerships. And how do we reach out to the larger municipalities and take their playbook and put our name on it, because they're more than often willing to do that. And as the Canadian Public Works Association, we advocate in Ottawa to make sure that when decisions are being made, that they think about every size population municipality in Canada. For instance, I was able to connect with the infrastructure minister last year, and we talked a little bit about my small town, that I had to hire an engineer to apply for an infrastructure grant. That engineer cost me $43,000. And in our small town, that's a 4% tax increase. So, you know, they never think of those things, and they never think that we don't have the in-house expertise in small communities as they do in large communities. So it's our job as the board of directors to make sure that we provide input on many important decisions being made in Ottawa, and to make sure we represent and validate the importance of public works in Canada. Public works in Canada goes from those contracted services that are so important in our community, all the way through the organization to the person that's at the ice plant, making sure that all of the instruments are working correctly, and making sure that all the people that are visiting our community, which means economic growth, enjoy the experience at our local arena, which is the heart and soul of rural communities. And those public works people are from parks background, facilities background, water and wastewater backgrounds, roads background, traffic. There's so many different diverse careers that can be part of our public works group. So to all of you, thank you very much for taking time to celebrate National Public Works Week. And I know this has been a really tough year. Even doing this virtually is so hard, talking to a screen instead of to all you wonderful people. I miss seeing everybody so much, and I wish that my year as president I would have gotten around more. But I'm very glad that these virtual opportunities are still happening, and making sure that we take time to celebrate each other. So stay safe, and you're going to see me again as we talk a little bit more about our advocacy, and make sure that you're kind to each other. It's so important. So take care, and we'll see you a little later on. Have a great week.
Well, thank you very much, Patty, for sending us your greetings, and certainly for sharing your public works story with us from a small Canadian community perspective. As an introduction to our next two guests from the American Public Works Association, let's take a moment to watch this video provided by APWA.
Communities depend on public works for the innovations, the solutions, and for the quality of life we enjoy each and every day.
But as our communities grow,
our needs are ever changing.
With more possibilities to pursue,
challenging the past,
to write the next chapter,
move communities forward.
This is Public Works, and these are the innovators changing the world. This is why we work, because the people of Public Works believe in the power of community.
Giving our personal best.
Innovating tomorrow, today.
Always moving forward. Before the next disaster.
For the next generation.
And our generation too.
to sustain our communities,
save our planet,
Making a difference every day.
As Public Works, we seize the moment, realizing our full potential. Searching, solving, innovating. This is why we work, bringing together imagination, creativity, and passion, uniting the tools and technologies for today's world, changing the game for the future. We are Public Works.
Okay, well, at this time, I'd like to ask Mary Joyce to join us. I'll just ask her to turn on her video.
Hello.
Good morning, Mary Joyce. How are you?
Good. How are you, Enrico? So
I'm
excited
doing well.
to be here. Good.
Well, you're so gracious to join us. I should tell our audience that Mary Joyce is located on the Pacific Coast, so quite a bit earlier at her end, neck of the woods, but we're very pleased to have you join us.
Great. Thank you, Enrico. And thank you, Ontario Public Works Association. I am so honored to be here. And when I see these videos and stories, I get so inspired by all our public works heroes, and it's just great. And kudos to you for a wonderful program today to celebrate National Public Works Week. So I'm here on behalf of our board of directors to give you a little insight as to what's been happening at the national level, coordinating with all of you as we are stronger together. Next slide, please.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say Mary Joyce, she's the Deputy Public Works Director at the City of Ventura, California. Mary Joyce is passionate about promoting public works as a profession and as a first responder, and I think you'll see that in her remarks today. And she's devoted to the APWA chapter members. So once again, we're very pleased to have you here. I'm just going to get myself off the video and we'll move the slides forward.
Thank you. So thank you for being stronger together. Our theme this year as well is one APWA, and we're all in this together, and we couldn't do it without each other. Next slide. So a year of making lemonade out of lemons. I know when we meet the challenges, we're so resilient as public works professionals. A lot of positive has come out of this year. I always like to look at the glass half full and to see what we can do. One of the things is virtually being able to connect and meet with everybody. Like you, and Patty said, I'd love to be in the room with all of you, sharing stories, seeing how each other's doing. But this is the next best thing, and we've been able to connect a lot this year. Some of the things is it creates, when we meet these challenges, it makes us be more creative. And so there's been a lot of great things that have happened at the national level, especially with all the educational programming and being able to reach out to our elected officials. Everything we do is tied to our strategic plan, which is voice, value, membership and engagement, and education and credentialing. Next slide. So if I was in the room with you, I'd be asking how many have participated in a PWX at home. This month is sustainability, and in June is emergency management. I know we're all well versed and experienced in emergency management as first responders because we're the first to arrive and last to leave, no matter what the emergency may be. But this was immediately when the pandemic hit and we had to cancel the snow conferences and PWX in New Orleans. Our staff at National, along with all the great volunteers and technical experts who provide content, immediately put this program together. And I think it's great, and I'm hoping that it will continue because it focuses on the key topics of our technologies and what we do in public works. So when you've had your employees at home, working from home, or needing some extra education, it provided a great opportunities. And I think we've had at least over 5,000 participants from our membership across Canada and the United States. So I think it's been a great thing to provide that opportunity. And it's also available in the members library ongoing. So if you need a topic or you need some more education or see what's happening, it's available to you. Next slide. So I don't know how many participated in the Stormwater Summit or in the Snow Conference recently, but this is the new platform that APWA has been using instead of, it's called AirMeet. We all have Zoom fatigue, but it provided some great features of being able to go into the different rooms, and if you could go on a topic or meet people instead of being in the lounges, you could go meet and talk about different topics, or meet our great partners with our sponsors and our exhibitors and suppliers. So it's pretty cool technology, and I think we will be continuing that in the future as well for some future hybrid meetings if we do some in person and some virtually. Next, please. And then I want to thank you all for being the voice of Public Works. Yes, we've in the past gone to Ottawa and talked to your elected officials within our Government Affairs Committee and our staff liaison, Ann Jackson. They put together our public policies and priorities for Canada. And I think they're great with emergency management. Your asset management's like top notch and great. And then in June, I know some of the large city directors within Ontario Public Works Association has participated. So we're coming together in June to talk through some of the issues that are important on how to move out of the pandemic and resiliency and our economic development. So I'm looking forward to those discussions. And I know we also have the small city rural community conversations as well with our technical committees and stuff. So no matter what size your community or agency is, we're all dealing with the same issues, and we're looking to each other to solve those and move forward. Next. And then one of the things each year, we do our top 5 trending technologies. And I hope you've been able to read that in the reporter or participate in some of the quick listens and learns, or hearing this from our great technology sponsors and exhibitors. And I know we have the bracket challenge, and you get to vote on what's most important to you. I know you're the leaders in asset management, and that's something we're implementing at my agency and dealing in our communities with small cell and 5G, and as well as our technology for our field crews. It takes all of us to work together, and I really am passionate about our operations and management team, as well as our engineering and our operators. And so it's a good opportunity for additional education and information and sharing our stories. Next. And then with education and credentialing with APWA certification, I received my certified public lead professional in 2008, and that really launched my career in fleet and facilities, and got involved on the technical committee. I had the honor of working with Don Miller from Kitchener on the fleet committee, and he's still a member. And it's just been a great opportunity for your team members within your agencies to get certified in stormwater or inspection. And then we also at all levels have the supervisor and manager certification. And also we've launched some certificates in fleet facilities and hope to get more going. So that's our way of helping our members stay with their professional development, improving what they're doing, and having our succession plans prepared within our organizations, and strengthening what we do in public works. Next. And then something that's happening national, the board of directors approved us pursuing a new platform, and this will benefit all of our membership as so it allows registration for classes, paying our membership fees, ordering from the store, and it's just going to create a great platform for delivering all the great virtual information and things on our website and educational opportunities. As you know, things get outdated and tired, and we want to move forward with our infrastructure. So this is our digital electronic platform for our association. So we're excited to see that get implemented in the next year or so. So next, please. And then this will be launched at PWX in St. Louis, Missouri in a couple months, but we've created an APWA foundation. The board is originally going to be the trustees, and then we will open it up for members to help on this. And this is our creating our philanthropic arena for our public works members and associations. And it's another nonprofit, and it's an opportunity for bequests or adding more to educational opportunities that we can provide, such as JR Fellows, meeting globally, learning from each other, and having those programs. So we're really excited to launch our APWA Foundation. So you'll be able to see more information coming soon. So next. So hopefully when it is safe and you can come to the United States, we hope to meet you in St. Louis at PWX. And if not, we are also putting on a hybrid virtual opportunity. So everything will be recorded and it will be available in October, about a month afterward. And I'm excited about that as well, because that's some of our lemonade that we have. I have employees or our team members that aren't able to attend PWX, so now they can participate in all that great, valuable content that we get from all our technical subject matter experts across all of our chapters. So thank you very much, Enrico. What an awesome program. And I wish all of you the best and have a great National Public Works Week. And thank you for all you do. It's an honor to be the president. And I just have to shout out, I got on the board of directors in Toronto. So Toronto and the Ontario Public Works Association and CPWA are very special to me. So thank you very much for all you do. Have a great week and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Mary Joyce, for providing some insight into these APWA programs and certainly the organization itself. I hope you have a very happy National Public Works Week. I think just to our audience, it's important that you as members of OPWA understand that you also are a member of APWA. That makes you or gives you opportunity available to you for a huge amount of resources and information to help you in your public works career. So anyways, thank you again, Mary Joyce. Stay well and stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, our next guest from APWA is Sean Odell, and he is the Region 5 Director of APWA. Sean's been doing such a great job. He's been re-elected to continue on as the Region 5 Director, so congratulations. He's Vice President of Baxter and Woodman's Water Group, where Sean leads a group of 5 departments. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Great. How are you, Enrico? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a great opportunity to have you with us today, certainly. I know we can't visit in person. I recollect my story visiting Congress 2013 with APWA, previously known as Congress before, now PWX, and that was in Chicago. And Chicago's a great city. I had a chance for a deep dish pizza, delicious.
Love it. Yeah. And you guys will be coming back in a couple of years. So, and I have fond memories of visiting you at the AGM a couple of years back. So yeah, thanks again for having me. And I'll be real quick. I just want to say thank you all for everything that you've done over the past year. First off, the OPWA board, Enrico, Don, and everyone else. It's just been a crazy year. So thank you for all you've been doing. The engagements, still keeping people involved. It's just been wonderful to see. And of the 7 chapters that I've been working with over the past couple of years, Ontario's been doing a fabulous job. So great job and keep up the great work. Also want to give a shout out to Patty and Ryland over at the CPWA board, and also Chris Hamill. Been doing some great things. Actually, I wanted to mention one thing on the CPWA. There is actually a webinar this Thursday, May 20th at 1 p.m. Talking about advocating for public works, which I think is a really good opportunity for us during this National Public Works Week. Advocating, telling our story, talking to our elected officials about the importance of what we do in public works, because they often forget about what we do. So getting out there is a very big deal. So hopefully you can join us on May 20th, and feel free to RSVP to Ann Jackson for that. But yeah, the real big thing that I've been working on and a lot of our co-workers and colleagues has been about advocating for public works. So talking about resiliency, workforce management, that's one thing near and dear to my heart. I think the recent stat I heard is in my neck of the woods in Chicago, over the next 5 years, I think nearly 50% of our water operators are retiring. So building up our workforce, promoting public works, showing the great opportunities for jobs is going to be a real big thing for us moving forward. So also looking at transportation funding, emergency management, affordability, access to infrastructure, all these different things are really near and dear to our heart. So we've been really pushing that. And thankfully, due to all of our relationships and everything, things have been going well through this past year. We've been able to still have these conversations. We're all looking forward to get back in person, but again, just I urge you to get out there, tell your story, and make that a thing for you this year. A couple more shout outs. I recently saw last week, and hopefully she accepts, but one of my friends, Angela Story, was recently appointed to the CPWA Board of Directors, so hopefully she accepts. But Angela, great job. Also want to give a shout out to Ed Dulovic, who I did a lot of work with before he retired. So Ed was a great person to work with. But just wanted to say thank you for all you're doing. APWA is here to help, and I hope to see you all at PWX. So with that, Enrico, taking it back off to you.
Yeah, okay, no, that's great. Thank you very much, Sean, for taking the time to spend with us, and to you as well. Please stay well and stay safe, and I hope that we can catch up in person very soon.
Please, yeah, I guess.
All right, take care. Okay, everyone, we've now come to the keynote of the opening session, and it's my distinct pleasure to welcome Paul May. It was through the OPWA that I came to know Paul, even more so during APWA's 2014 Congress that was hosted in Toronto by OPWA. Paul had a very important role at that time, and he was overseeing the finances of this spectacular event. Now, when I started thinking of a keynote for this morning, it didn't take long to think of Paul for many reasons. He has a telling story and a very successful story in public works. He was also the recipient of the OPWA Top Public Works Leader of the Year Award in 2014. And in 2017, he is the recipient of APWA's Top 10 Award. Today, Paul holds the position of the Executive Vice President of Project Implementation at York Region, Rapid Transit Corporation. Paul, I'm glad to have you join us this morning. I'll have you turn on your camera.
Yeah, it is on.
Okay, great. And I'm going to leave mine, and I'm going to stop sharing your screen, my screen, so you can share yours. So I'll have you take it away. Thank you, Paul.
Well, thank you very much for that nice introduction, Enrico. It's certainly, sorry, let me just share my screen here.
All right, great.
Everybody see that all right?
Yep, looks great.
All right, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for that introduction, Enrico, and thank you to everybody out there in the audience who's participating in this session. It's certainly my great honor and pleasure to be this year's keynote speaker and to have this role of kicking off National Public Works Week, which is a tremendous event every year organized and hosted by APWA and OPWA. This past, as we've talked about already, this past year certainly has been extremely remarkable, but I'm really proud of the way that public works professionals have stepped up, and they've continued and kept those essential services going without interruption. I'm also very pleased to see that OPWA has adapted and continued to provide valuable sessions such as this. It's even more relevant and more important in these certainly challenging times. So when I was asked by Enrico to be the keynote speaker for Public Works Week and to talk about what is public works, the first thing I did was naturally to go to the APWA website and see what their definition is, which is public works is the combination of physical assets, management practices, policies, and personnel necessary for government to provide and sustain structures and services essential to the welfare and acceptable quality of life for its citizens. So this is certainly a good and comprehensive definition, if not just a little bit long, I think. So my definition, when I really thought about it, I tried to boil it down to just the essential component. What is the essential component of public works? And to me, public works boils down to service to the public. We provide many of the essential services of daily lives for everyone in our communities. And whether you work directly for government in providing those services, or you're with a consultant or a contractor or a supplier, ultimately, all of us in public works deliver services that the public utilize. And these are services that are taken for granted by the public, and they assume that they will always be there. Clean water will come out of my tap when we turn it on. Roads will be maintained, and we can travel wherever we want to go. Gas and hydro and other utilities will continue uninterrupted. Our garbage and recycling will be picked up every week from our curbside. And Public Works requires that type of thankless dedication. We don't get a lot of exposure or thanks from the general public. We're sometimes somewhat invisible, but these services to the public are critical, and it's certainly what keeps me going. And then after that, I went on to think about other things and what Public Works means to me. I think Public Works is also remembering and learning lessons from the past so that we can prepare for the future. We need to be continually learning lessons from the past, whether they're good examples, like there's a picture there of the Prince Edward Viaduct on Bloor, where they had the visionary foresight when they were designing that structure over 100 years ago to include a portal in it for a subway that wasn't built until about 50 years later after the viaduct was initially built. So they had that vision for the future, that at some point in time, there might be another form of transportation utilizing Bloor Street and making provisions for it. We also have to keep in mind other examples of unfortunate tragedies that have happened in our past and learning from them, such as the Quebec bridge collapse, which also happened over 100 years ago, or the more recent examples in Walkerton and the Algoma Mall collapse in Elliott Lake. These are just a few of those unfortunate tragedies that have happened in our past, and we need to learn from those as we continue to serve our public. So along that theme, Public Works is continual learning throughout your career. It's a critical part, and organizations such as OPWA and APWA are critical to continue to learn from others. They're always updating their content and providing the most relevant topics and for all of us to learn from. We certainly wouldn't want to go to a doctor who hadn't kept current after he or she had gone to med school back in the 70s. We want a doctor who's completely up to date on the latest technologies, the latest practices and medications. So volunteering and participating with organizations such as OPWA can not only benefit you through those formal learning opportunities, such as this kind of a session, but also through the coaching, mentoring, and networking opportunities that naturally come by participating with OPWA and APWA. Public Works is safety, and it must be first and foremost in our minds in everything we do. It's got to be built and baked right into our culture and practiced every day. There's still far too many workers that continue to be injured on the job. We also have a duty of safety to the public in the water we provide, and the infrastructure that we build has to first and foremost be safe for the public. Public Works is also sustainability. The infrastructure and services we provide are for not only the current generation, but those of future generations. The definition of sustainability, or one of the definitions of it, is that it's meeting your current needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. There's the three pillars to always keep in mind for every project, every service you provide, of environmental, social, and economic. Sometimes they're also known as the 3 Ps. As 3 Ps, people, planet, and profits. And every project has to be designed and built, keeping in mind all 3 of those pillars and making sure that it benefits each one of those and not one to the exclusion of the other 2. And in this way, our descendants can also enjoy the same quality of life as we do. Public Works is also continually evolving and changing as needs and technology evolve. The pictures illustrated here is just a simple example with winter maintenance. And although winter storms haven't changed, the way we deal with them certainly has, and our methods and have become much more efficient and effective at dealing with these storms. And the changes include both technology within the plow as well as outside the plow, to give us better predictive capabilities. It's also in the way we in some of the methods that we use to deal with storms, such as the application of a brine to the road before the storm hits, so that the snow and ice doesn't have an opportunity to stick to the road. Change is continuous and in the way we do our jobs. I started thinking about all of the technology changes that have occurred during my career, which started in the 80s. And I've just listed a number of them, things that have been developed and along the way. You know, when I started working, I didn't have a cell phone. Even when I started working at York Region, my office phone was still a dial phone. Now, even for the time, that was still kind of behind the times, but technologies have changed along the way, and each one of these has had an impact and changed the way we do business and the way I do business. And that list includes the sudden impact of COVID and our quick adaptation of video calls and conferencing, such as this one over the past year. A little over a year ago, I'd never even heard of Zoom, and now I use it every day, as I expect most of you do as well. So here's another example of a trial and error and with new methods. This was me early in my career testing a new transit vehicle. That experiment didn't go so well, as you can imagine, but certainly learned from it and adapted and moved on. So I started to think about all the things that have changed during my career in the way we design road and transit systems. This is a picture of the recent bus rapid transit project that the York Region Rapid Transit Corporation constructed and implemented just a few years ago. This picture was actually taken out of our office window with the transit station shown there in the rapid way in the middle of this major arterial road, Highway 7. And as I talk about the picture, I'll highlight different aspects of it that are changes from how we would have designed a road in the early part of my career. So first, the whole concept of bus rapid transit was very new at the time in the 80s, and has certainly evolved and continued to evolve and become a much more important part of a rapid transit infrastructure in the way it's provided and the flexibility it provides to serve our communities. You can see that the asphalt is red to designate the rapid way itself, to indicate that other vehicles shouldn't be entering into the rapid way. Adding red pigment to black asphalt was a new technology for us, and we had to do a fair amount of experimenting and trial and error to get it right. This blue circle is on the traffic signal control cabinet there on the corner, and certainly the technology within that cabinet has evolved greatly over the past 30 or 40 years. There's also a communications cabinet on each of the platforms that controls all of the public address announcements, the video surveillance, and the ticket vending machines. That has all changed greatly over the life of my career. For these transit projects, we worked to make it a more urban environment. So we tightened up some of our standards in terms of lane widths and curb radii to slow down traffic. And those have had the immediate benefit of not only slowing down traffic, but greatly reducing the number of collisions that have occurred in these corridors. In each one of the corridors where we've implemented this, from before we started construction to after we started construction. We've added bike lanes to all of our projects. Certainly earlier in my career, we weren't necessarily building for bicyclists and not including them as part of the road right of way. As I suspect all of your projects, they're all fully accessible. Ours certainly is fully accessible, not only the crosswalks, but also the stations themselves. And those standards have changed over the past 30 years as well. And finally, the streetscaping that we've added to the projects, the plantings and the pavers to make it a more pedestrian environment, not just thinking about the cars, but thinking about the pedestrians as well. is another part that has changed over the last part of my career. So Public Works is also meeting the challenges of the future. We need to continually anticipate and plan and build for the future. The pictures on the top row of this slide show the washout that happened on Finch Avenue in Toronto a few years ago after a fairly major storm, and is kind of a dramatic illustration of the impact that climate change can have on our infrastructure. So anticipating and planning for these type of events will become an increasingly important part of our jobs. We also need to plan and build for future development and intensification that will occur in our cities, and try to anticipate the needs of the future. The spin-off effects of COVID may have a profound influence on the needs of the public in the future and the way we work and live. And we need to continually have those first and foremost in our minds and be planning for them. Mary Joyce Ivers talked a little bit about APWA's role in identifying emerging and trending technologies and highlighting them, and APWA certainly plays an important role in trying to identify those that have the greatest impact on public works and help us to learn and adapt for them. So I've listed a number of technologies here, and there's probably a lot more to add to this list. And they'll include things like autonomous vehicles and 5G technology. Each one may impact the way we do our job and the way the public expects us, the services to be provided in the future. So what I started to think also about how we spend our time on a typical day. And if you take your task list or your to-do list and you separate them into those that are more urgent versus those that are less urgent, and those that are more important versus less important, you could categorize them into these 4 boxes on this slide. And so we would naturally work on the tasks that is in the red box that are both important tasks as well as urgent tasks. Once those have been accomplished, our natural tendency is to move down to that yellow box to deal with those other urgent issues that might not be quite so important. Those are all the day-to-day fires that we have to put out. They need to be done, but where you really want to focus a lot of your time is down in that blue box. So working on those things that are important, but a little less urgent. And that would include things like coaching and mentoring and learning, researching, planning for the future. Those are the things that tend to get put off to a future day. I'll deal with them tomorrow. We have to keep working on those and urge each of you to focus on those important things, and not just putting out those day-to-day urgent fires. Public Works is also diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion is not just about our hiring practices, which need to be completely open and transparent, but a diverse and inclusive workplace is one that involves and includes everyone, no matter who they are or what they do. The best ideas don't necessarily come from the top of the organization. They can come from the front line as well, or anywhere within your organization. We have to be open to listening and accepting all of those ideas and considering them. So diversity and inclusion it makes our organization stronger. I know it certainly has in my own organization. And then finally, Public Works is, as the theme for this year, Stronger Together. Working and collaborating with each other, as well as the public and all of the stakeholders that affect us and our projects, and make us much stronger. Laura McDowell from York Region will be the keynote speaker on the closing session on Friday, and she'll be speaking much more about this, about collaborating with each other. So I look forward to listening to her and hearing her presentation. And with that, I'll close and would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much for that presentation. and certainly kind of taking us through, the exploration of what public works is and what it's meant to you over your career. I think for sure, the future challenges to plan for the pandemic will have and has had a profound impact on public works in our communities.
Yeah, and we're still learning what long-term impact that may have, like on the way we travel and go to work, and whether we continue to work at home versus going into the office every day can have a profound influence in the future. And it's yet to be determined.
For sure. Well, that was an excellent presentation, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. We are running right up to the next program and beyond, so we're just going to conclude here. We did want to share a last APWA video, but we'll find an opportunity to do that towards the end of the week. I just want to say thank you very much for joining us in this kickoff opening session event. It's been fun. I hope you've had fun and enjoyed it very much. I want to conclude with a last slide for saying thank you to our annual sponsors of OPWA. And after seeing that, I know Don is ready to go with his group, and we'll move into the industry panel right afterwards. So once again, thank you for joining us. Have yourselves a happy National Public Works Week. Stay well and stay safe.